So we're going to delve into the world of coding, and to do this I'm going to use one of my favorite sites, and that is Scratch. So type in Scratch to your search engine. Here it is right at the top. Clicking there, we'll go to the home page. Now you will need to ask your mum and dad to create an account. You do this by going to join Scratch at the top here. Should take less than a minute. The only better thing than how quick this is that it's free of charge, but please ask your mum and dad for creating an account. So I'm going to sign in with one of my IDs. Now, one of the things I find the most difficult with coding is actually knowing what to do, coming up with the ideas. Now, Scratch is fantastic because at the top you can see there is an ideas section. So if we click on there, we'll be greeted by a series of tutorials. Getting started, animate a name, imagine a world, make a chase game. I personally would strongly urge you to begin by looking at these PDF Scratch coding cards. And what I particularly like about these is that it literally shows you and talks you through every aspect of the project. So here we have a letter that when we click on it, it changes color. And there we are, choose a letter from the sprite library. That's what the sprite button looks like. Choose a backdrop. That's what the backdrop button looks like. There is some block code. Notice that they're different colors for different functions. So great place to start is by going and look at those PDF cards. Another really cool place to go, if you're struggling with ideas, is to go to Code Club as well. And in Code Club, right near the top, we have Explore Projects. Here we are. And there's a section dedicated to Scratch. There are other sections, as you can see, for HTML, CSS, Python. There's Raspberry Pi. There's microbits as well. But for now, we're interested in Scratch. So let's type in Module 1. There's, I believe, 6 projects here. Let's click into the first one, Rock Band, see what that looks like. Down the left-hand side, we can see the stages of our project, where we are, the progress we're making. And here to the right, step-by-step instructions of what you need to do. And it shows you what your end product will look like as well. So click on there, click the green flag to start, and we can tap on the drum, on the cymbal, on here. Wonderful singing, just like my own. So I'm going to click off here. 2 places, as I said, Code Club projects there and ideas here. Just below the PDF cards, by the way, some starter projects. But I'm going to actually show you what the actual Scratch looks like. So if we go to Create, we will be greeted by the screen where we do all our coding. Now, I mentioned earlier that about each block has a different color for a different function. So blue blocks is all about movement, motion, direction. Looks, make your sprite say something. Make it change the costume that it's wearing or its size. Sound, I think, is fairly self-explanatory. Event, incredibly important. Every single bit of code we do has to begin with one of these blocks, has to begin with an event. Control, do we want to delay something to happen? How many times do we want it to repeat? Sensing, if your sprite touches a particular color, we can ask it to do something. Operators, variables, and finally, when you become very good, you make your own blocks. So all the code we do is here in this middle section, and over here on the right, this is what our game looks like. And here is our sprite. Remember that button that we saw earlier when we were looking at those coding cards? So we can choose a sprite, and it's clicking there. Lots and lots of different options. I'm not going to waste too much time here. I'm just going to go for a bat, and my bat has appeared. Notice now that this is highlighted for this sprite, this bat sprite. Any code that I do here will only affect this sprite. If I click on this one, now any code that I did would only affect this character, who, funnily enough, is called Scratch. And I'm just going to get rid of Scratch, delete him, put my bat in the middle. I can change the size quite simply by doing this. What I want you to think of is this section here, is that it's a 4-quadrant grid. Okay, our origin is here right in the middle, so I've got 1 quadrant, 2, a third, and a fourth. We notice as I move him closer to the middle, these coordinates are getting closer to 0, 0. Okay, so it's a 4-quadrant grid. Very important to realize that. We also have an option for backdrops over here. Select what backdrop I want. I'm just going to go for a very First one up here, there's the Arctic, bat in the Arctic. I've seen it all now. And I'm just going to do some very, very quick coding. But as I said, for me, my suggestion to you is to use those ideas and on the Scratch site or those projects on Code Club for your initial projects. So everything must start with an event. So let's drag this over to the middle. So when this flag is clicked, I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to go to Control. I think I'll grab a forever loop here. I want to make my bat move here. So I'm going to go to Motion, Move, and I just need to click in there. 5 steps. It can be any number. Obviously, the greater the number, the more it's going to move. And I am going to go to point towards mouse pointer. So let's read this, what it logically says. When I click the green flag up here, forever, this sprite is going to move 5 steps to wherever the mouse pointer is. Notice some of the blocks have an option for drop down, okay? So let's see if that works. And there we are. The bat is following my mouse pointer. Brilliant. One thing I would really make sure that you're aware of is that you are actually coding the sprite. A lot of the time people make the mistake of selecting the backdrop and they're coding the backdrop. It's not going to make the bat move. So let's click back on here. A few other things to draw your attention to. Costumes. So I could go to looks and get the bat to change his costume. If you notice as I click, it looks like he's now flying upside down, and he looks like he's flying. We could also go to sounds. Pretty obvious what that does as well. So there it is, Scratch. Super, super quick guide. I hope that was of some help to you. To recap, places to go are the idea section and Code Club, where there's lots and lots of free projects. I hope that was of some use to you all.